Jiaoqiu is an extremely underrated character, but also at the same time, an absolute skip. Let's talk about that. What's going on, YouTube? Legend here once again, this time at you again with some more Honkai Star Rail, and it is finally time to talk about Jiaoqiu. Now, I have a feeling that somewhere during this video I'm probably going to pronounce his name wrong, because I've been pronouncing his name wrong this whole time, I feel like. So I'm going to try my best when it comes to that. But Jiaoqiu approaches. He's coming next week, I believe, and the creator server footage and stuff like that is going to start coming out for him soon. But if you guys play the story, a lot of us have already got a chance to try him out. That's the same with me. I've been able to try him out, able to look at his kit, see all the different stuff that he does do. So I'm pretty familiar with the character at this point. And I have something to admit. There's been a lot of doom posting when it comes to Jiaoqiu. And I gotta say that I slightly have been one of those people. Now, granted, I knew the type of value that he would bring, but I do feel that I myself underestimated him. And the fact of the matter is, he is a good character, right? He is a good character, and he's going to be able to bring value to a lot of people's accounts. The doom posting that has been coming out for him has been, a little too hard on the guy, been a little too hard on him because, like I said, he is a good character. But the fact of the matter is, the point stands that he is still a skip. He's still a skip. And it is because, despite his many advantages, we got to really look at what he brings to the table and what he's competing with. But what does he bring to the table? Let's talk about it a little bit. The main thing about Jiaoqiu that he brings to the table is his vulnerability debuff. Now, there has been some theory crafters, some content creators that have been talking about his vulnerability a little bit. But to sum it up for you guys, there's different ways to debuff the enemy to allow your DPS to do more damage. They can shred defense. They can shred their resistances to specific elements or all elements. They can reduce their vulnerability too, right? We have a lot of debuffers that do take away resistances and defense from the enemy. But when it comes to vulnerability, that is something that not a lot of characters do. And if you look at the Acheron team right now, there's plenty of ways to take down defense when it comes to Silverwolf, when it comes to Pella. I use her with my E2 Sparkle, and she lets you ignore defense too. Same thing with Ron May. E1 is able to allow her ignore defense too. Robin E1 allows you to ignore, do some res penetration, some res pen, ignore the enemy's resistances. These different debuffs, or sometimes in the form of buffs, are becoming quite plentiful. But when it comes to Jiaoqiu, he just works differently. And when you have something, a stat that is being neglected, and you enhance it, you enhance the damage that's being dealt by quite a bit by able to feed a certain part of the formula that is starving. So, all that to say, Jiaoqiu is going to be an upgrade from Pella, right? You can call him Pella's power creep if you want, right? Because he's going to supply more damage. Because at this point, we're getting to situations where we're able to max out defense down with 100%, but we're nowhere near maxing out or getting high amounts of vulnerability debuffs. He's going to apply more damage that way, right? And also too, just the way his kit works, where with Pella, you're going to constantly have to reapply your burst. Even though it's not really hard to burst with her, sometimes that can get in the way if you don't always have it up. Where he puts down a zone, and he's the character coming in because of one of his traces, he's able to just go ahead and debuff right on the enemy as soon as they enter the field. He's more convenient, he's going to work more flawlessly, and he's going to allow the characters to do more damage, right? Now, this just isn't just for Acheron, right? But this is for dot teams too, right? Because when it comes to dot teams, his Ashen Roast also counts as burn. So he's going to be able to put burn for your Kafka and Black Swan teams, being a nice I'd say about side grade from Ron May, which is great because with Ron May, her demand is becoming quite higher. She's going to be wanted on the break team. So now you can have your dot team going on and your break team, which is great, which is fantastic. And a lot of people like those different options you can do, you know. Because sometimes, you know, and so just counts. The more characters you have, the more versatility you can make your teams, and the better off your account is. So, you know, you can't really knock the guy because he is pulling some weight, right? But I'm glazing him up right now. I'm glazing him up. So why would I say something like he is an absolute skip? Well, the fact of the matter is, he is an upgrade for Acheron teams, which is fantastic, right? Acheron is possibly the best DPS in the game, you know. I personally think that Firefly kind of edges out a bit, but, you know, it's debatable. It's debatable. And so you have a character that's helping out the best character in the game, or the best DPS in the game. But the fact of the matter is, that's kind of all you really want him to do, you know? Because when it comes to that team, like I said, he's kind of a side grade. So, like, if you have Ron May, essentially you are good there, you know? I can argue that with Pella, you are good with Acheron teams too. Acheron can do massive amounts of damage with Pella, even though she's going to be able to do more with Jiaoqiu. She's going to be able to do more with him, but it's not that necessary to do that much more damage as of right now. Maybe in the future, as you know, the HP pools get bigger and bigger, and you're gonna want more and more damage, and then you're gonna be like, oh man, I wish I had that Jiaoqiu. But by that time, his rerun might be coming back around, you know? With that being said, is an entire limited character worth it to get for a slight upgrade for one of your DPSs? He's not really changing anything on your account. He's not really revolutionizing anything. He's just giving you an upgrade right now. And I know for a fact that as time goes on, he's going to gain more value. There are going to be more situations where you want to debuff the enemy rather than buffing up DPSs with the Harmony units. I'm sure they'll have, like, I'm sure they'll do something like with Darker Ratio, where the more debuffs, the better off, you know? They'll do that, and they'll find more situations where he's more beneficial, right? Maybe we have a extra powerful dot unit coming around the corner. Having just a slight upgrade to one team, especially when you have Jiaoqiu competing with the characters around him, like you have him competing with Sparkle, you have him competing with Fei Xiao. That is tough competition right there, versus getting a character that's just going to be an upgrade for one of your teams. It just doesn't add up too much, in my eyes. Now, granted, it's your account. Maybe you have an account where you don't have 2 of the 3 Harmony units, and you need somebody who's going to be able to amplify damage a great amount. Let's say you have Acheron, but you have Pella, but you don't have a Sparkle. You don't have, the Sparkle's coming on banner, so I think you should get Sparkle over him, but, whatever. But let's say, your Sparkle's tied up on another team, and you have Pella, and you're like, oh, well, I have to use Gwynethyn. Then yeah, sure, like, I get it, There are situations where he's worth it, You have a Dr. Ratio team. You don't have Sparkle or Robin to help out your Dr. Ratio, and you're like, or you have Sparkle and Robin, but you just don't have a way to get enough debuffs on the enemy, and you don't have Silver Wolf. Then okay, yeah, maybe it's time for the Jiaoqiu, Some people are going to want him, and that's okay. But I'm saying that I believe that most don't, all right? And also keep in mind too, even after Fei Xiao and Lingsha on the following patch, that's 2.5. After that's 2.6, right? And when it comes to these Hoyo games, the next regions usually come out between 0.6 and 0.8 of the versions, right? So we got to keep in mind that we're going to be looking at some power creep even past that too. You might see a whole nother Harmony unit coming out, that's cracked beyond reason. You might see a whole new tier of DPSs. We're probably going to see something, So keep in mind when it comes to that too. We might see some pretty heavy things coming our way. So that's kind of why I think that Jiaoqiu, he's great. He looks wonderful. He's probably gonna find more uses in the future. But as of right now, he's underrated, but he's a skip. It is what it is. But let me know what you guys think. Are you guys thinking about getting Jiaoqiu, or are you skipping for one of the future characters? Or do you just not like him? Or you plan on getting Fei Xiao? Things like that. Definitely let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if I like the content that I'm giving you here. And subscribe to the channel so you get more content like this. With that, here, Legend out.